So if we go back to the 1900s and we look at the building of the mental asylums, they were extremely large and had thousands of rooms. So then you start to wonder, why would someone build a mental asylum that large in the 1900s? Not to mention the resources that it would take. And especially when you look at the early 1900s, people were only living in little houses and shacks made from wood. Then you have these huge mental asylums, expertly made, where they were locking up thousands of people who went against the narrative. And can you guess what the narrative was? Well, it's the life that you live today. When they started to first introduce taxes and those things we get given into our arms. And when people would go against the narrative, they would get locked up in these mental asylums. And it will be put out on radio broadcasts as well, that if anyone went against the system, they would be locked up. And if you actually look back, they actually got rid of a lot of the population back in that time who went against the system. So if you actually go and look at the mental asylums in the 1900s, you will start to see the buildings and their size and their structure, which doesn't really make any sense for that time period. And then the majority of them were actually demolished during World War I. The majority in England were demolished and there is very few left because they wanted to hide the evidence. And if you think of the mud flood as well, these mental asylums started to increase massively after the 1800s, which is when the mud flood took place around those times. Which is funny because then you have to question, were these people put in these asylums because they spoke out about the mud flood and the forgotten history of Tartaria?